Hi and welcome to the ThruNite channel. So today we're going to focus on headlamps and the importance of headlamps for versatility. Now I keep flashlights everywhere, but every place that I have a regular standard flashlight, I also have a headlamp because you never know when you're going to need hands-free lighting. So in today's video we're going to talk a little bit more about headlamps. Now on the left here we have the ThruNite, this is the TH30 V2. Next to that we have a standard flashlight, the awesome ThruNite TT20. Next to that, we have the Olight headlamp. This is the Perun 2. And all the way to the right, we have the Nitecore headlamp. This is the HC35. These are all fantastic options for modern day flashlights. Now, when someone says the word flashlight, what do you think of? Usually you think of something like this TT20. We just basically have a metal cylinder, right? Some kind of battery source inside, some kind of switch or button to turn it on. Sometimes you get a little pocket clip on there, sometimes not. But this is the general idea of what a flashlight is, right? We have an LED or sometimes a bulb if you have an older style flashlight, and we have a reflector to reflect that light outwards. That's a flashlight. But what people often forget when you're talking about flashlights is the advantage of having a headlamp. Now with these modern day headlamps, right, we don't have just a dedicated light that's built into some kind of a headband. In all three of these examples here, what we have is a 90-degree angled flashlight that is held on a headband. Okay, this gives you the option to remove it. Now, if you look at this ThruNite TH30 V2, you can see that it is removable. In fact, all three of these headlamp options I'm showing you today are removable from their headband. This is kind of the modern style for headlamps, and the reason for that is that if you don't want to use it on the head with the headband, you can just use it as a regular flashlight. So the only difference between these two lights in their style is that a regular flashlight projects out the front, whereas a headlamp, all right, projects out the side. So it's a 90-degree turn, all right? Now the idea obviously is once it's in the headband, it's going to be fitted sideways to your head. It just makes more sense than if we had, you know, headlamps that were like this, all right? Obviously that would be cumbersome. You wouldn't be able to manage the weight. It would just be silly. So at some point, someone had the very smart idea of putting it sideways and just turning where the light actually comes out of. All right, so these modern day headlamps, again, all three of these situations, you can remove these from the headbands, which is a fantastic option so that if you don't need hands-free lighting, if you want to actually hold it and put it somewhere where, you know, maybe you can't get to with your head, let's say I'm looking at a project, right? I'm looking straight at it. Now, as a headlamp, this is going to light it up beautifully. But what if I have to get light underneath where I can't put my head? Well, I simply take it off the headband, turn it on, and I could put this literally anywhere with my hand. All right, so headlamps have a huge advantage, in my opinion, over handheld flashlights. The only disadvantage is that it does have that 90-degree turn, which a lot of people aren't used to. So if you wanted to hold a light like this and have it project outwards, obviously you need a traditional flashlight. All right, or if you wanted to hold it in a reverse grip or something. Now here's a quick example of putting this one back. You can see there are the two rubber straps here, and there's two spots on this light where those rubber straps sit. So you do one, and then you do the other. Quite simple. And then you are back in business as a headlamp. All right, and obviously this does rotate all the way down. All right, you gotta hold the bottom here to rotate it, or it can rotate all the way up. Now what's nice about having it all the way up is that when this is on your head, if you're walking through a building, this will actually bounce the light all over the ceiling and the walls, and it'll light up the entire room. I've personally used this before multiple times when we had power outages in the past. All right, now it's nice to have candles and certain flashlights that can tail stand. You can have those in different rooms. But what's nice about a headlamp specifically in a power outage in your home is, let's say you have to go to the bathroom. Well, it's dark everywhere, right? You put your headlamp on your head, you turn it upwards so it's facing the ceiling straight up, you turn it on, and then whatever room you walk into, it dimly lits the entire room, depending on how much light there is. And in the case of this particular ThruNite, which I've used in the past, this will light up my entire bathroom as if the light was almost on. So it's a fantastic option, especially in emergencies. All right, any kind of you know, camping, hiking situations, there's a lot of different things you're doing with your hands. You might need both hands where you just don't have the capability of doing something with one hand and holding a flashlight. You really do need both hands, but you still need that light. So what do? You turn to the headlamp. All right, just fantastic options. So when you're thinking about a flashlight, especially for emergencies, especially for prepping, especially for outdoor usage in, any kind of wilderness type situation, if you're camping or having a hike or just having fun, always consider a headlamp. Now, I think the combination of having a traditional flashlight like this as well as a headlamp together is really advantageous. I've personally been in situations where someone needed to borrow a light. All right, I was doing projects, whether it was with my father or friends, and I'm with someone else and they don't have a flashlight, they're not prepared. So I have my normal flashlight, but I also have a headlamp. And what I would do is I would give them the headlamp. All right, so wherever they look happens to be light. This way they don't have to mess around with it. I'll turn it on for them, explain very quickly how it works. And what's nice too is that, pretty much every headlamp has some kind of adjustability, okay? So if this is set for your head size, you can of course adjust that, bigger or smaller. You can, give it to kids. I think it's a lot of fun. Outside of actually needing flashlights, kids love playing with flashlights. It's just really fun. If I need the, straight on view with the light, but then I also need something on the side, I can reach around and, project light backwards. I mean, specifically, I've done this working on, things like ATVs, anything with a motor, pretty much. You need light every which way. So not only where you're looking, but sometimes you need to backlight stuff. So having two flashlights is even better, but specifically having a headlamp so that it's hands-free. And then of course, if you need that additional lighting in the back, you can use a variety of different flashlights to do that. Now, when you're talking about headlamps, they're no different than regular flashlights in that every single different model has different attributes, different run times, different power levels. In the case of this Nitecore HC35, you can see there are 4 LEDs in there and kind of a flat diffused lens on the front. Compared to the Olight Perun 2, you can see there's a single LED. In this particular case, there's actually a little sensor there. All right, so if you get too close to something on a high power, it'll automatically dim it. So there's tons of different features and battery sources. It doesn't really matter which one you pick. You have to treat them like regular flashlights. As far as the consumer, if you're looking to buy one, you want to look at the same things you're going to look at if you're considering buying a standard flashlight. So if you currently don't have a headlamp of some kind in your flashlight collection or your toolbox, you might want to consider getting one. It is a very, very versatile tool. We have everything we love about the flashlight, but making it hands-free, so you have the capability of using both your hands to work on things and do projects, it's just awesome. Now, if you're new to the channel and don't know, ThruNite does free giveaways on products. If you want to enter, all you have to do is comment on these videos and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.